This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The South Today, Minister of Education Chris Hipkins visited Queenstown last week to announce plans to pump $27 million into Otago at Southland schools. Frequent visitors to a Southland camping area are worried there won't be enough room to pitch a tent this summer. And Countdown Supermarket in central Oamaru has added a new weapon to its arsenal against seagulls nesting on the roof. Kia ora, good evening. I'm Simon Anderson. Minister of Education Chris Hipkins visited Queenstown last week to announce plans to pump $27 million into Otago and Southland schools. The intention is to cater for growing school roles. The plan includes $17 million to build a new primary school near Queenstown.
Getting a tour of Shotover Primary School in Queenstown, Minister of Education Chris Hipkins says the government is to spend $27 million building extra classrooms in central Otago and Southland to keep up with rising school rolls.
The population down here is growing really fast. It's growing dramatically. We know that we haven't been fast enough to provide extra space in the past. So today we're putting a lot of extra money in so that we can get ahead of that growth.
Over half of the $27 million allocated to the southern region will go towards building a new primary school nearby Hanley's Farm, providing space for about 400 pupils.
Building another new primary school, we're putting an extra 10 spaces around the place, and we're trying to get ahead of the growth curve so that schools don't become overcrowded.
Hipkins says the plan is to provide space for about 5,000 extra students in Otago and Southland by 2030, but areas of future population growth can be hard to predict.
We don't want to announce everything all up front, as we need to be able to shift where the population shifts. So, and we need to be able to put those extra schools, those extra classrooms where they're going to actually be needed.
Shotover Primary School is set to receive 6 new classrooms. Alexandra School and Wanaka's Hawea Flat School will get 4 new classrooms, and Garston School and Cromwell Primary School are set to get another 3 new classrooms. In Queenstown, The South Today.
Unvaccinated staff at 2 Queenstown ski fields will be stopped from coming to work in the fight to stop the spread of measles through the resorts community. 8 new cases of measles in the area were confirmed at the weekend, taking the total number of those infected to 15. 6 of the 8 new cases were New Zealand ski staff working at the Remarkables ski field. The other 2 new measles cases were primary school aged children. At least 11 New Zealand ski staff now have tested positive for the virus, which has been spreading through the wider Queenstown community. In the past week, more than 500 ski staff have been vaccinated or received booster shots. Any workers who exhibit symptoms will be stood down immediately. More than 1,000 measles cases have been confirmed in New Zealand this year. Over 3/4 of them are in the Auckland region. Frequent visitors to the Monkey Island camping area are worried there won't be enough room to pitch a tent this summer. The Bailey family have been visiting the campsite for years, but the Southland District Council are in the process of upgrading it. The Baileys are concerned not enough grass area will be left to pitch a tent over Christmas.
Marking their territory, the Bailey family don't believe the Southland District Council's plans to refurbish the car park at Monkey Island will leave them enough space to camp there this summer.
So now we're back to they're trying to squash us into 3 metres. We've marked out here now along the black lines here, 3 metres. And as you can see up there, there's a pup tent up there, which is a 1-person tent. And you can't even get that into the 3 metre area.
There's been 2 public meetings and 1 private one with the Baileys, and Karen Bailey says a compromise on the proposed plan was made, but she says council has backed away from that plan.
So at the end of the day, we're actually back to square one now because we're fighting council. What they're saying is, they're saying that there's not enough, it's not viable to have our 6 metres of space that we sort of come to agreement with Simon and Mark on Friday.
Southland District Council Community Facilities Manager Mark Day says there was varied feedback from the community as to how much grass is suitable. He said plans are still being finalised and the limited space of 120 metres by 18 metres made it difficult to accommodate the needs of all users. Bailey says everyone should have equal rights.
We are all ratepayers. Everyone Southland region are all ratepayers. We all have a say. So they have no more say than what we do here today. So basically, yeah, that's it. And that's why we're here today, fighting and protesting. And this is not the end.
Mark Day says it's the council's intention to create a family-friendly space at Monkey Island with upgraded facilities. And they're continuing to explore the options for the project before finalising their decision. Karen Bailey says the whānau is hoping for another public meeting to be held next week. In Southland, the South Today.
A man's jaw was fractured after he was kicked while on the ground during an assault in Invercargill early yesterday. Police say the alleged assault happened outside a night and day store on the corner of D and Essex Streets just after 3 a.m. on Sunday morning. They say the victim was punched, then kicked while he was on the ground. Several people were in the area at the time and police are calling for witnesses to come forward. The Countdown supermarket in central Oamaru has added a new weapon to its arsenal against seagulls nesting on the roof. Along with spikes on the rooftops perimeter and a light laser, the company is now releasing ozone gas to encourage the birds to go elsewhere.
Checking up on the pipes that spread ozone gas over the roof of central Oamaru's Countdown supermarket. Woolworths manager Ian Whitloff says pumping ozone on the roof is the latest trick for discouraging the gulls which have been nesting on the top of the building.
When the sun shines on the air, it produces ozone naturally. So we're not doing anything, creating anything poisonous. What ozone does, it interferes with the way a bird can breathe. So it just makes it a little bit of an irritation for the birds.
Last year, almost 1,000 red-billed gulls nested on the supermarket roof. But now, the ozone gas, plus other techniques such as spikes on the roof edge and a laser light, have reduced numbers dramatically. Whitloff says the Oamaru seabirds need to rest somewhere, but the metal rooftop is not a good nesting site.
We have a metal tin roof here, and in the height of summer, you can just imagine the temperature that this, that this roof, reaches. It's a very, very hot environment. It's not something that the birds would normally nest on.
Thanks to all the bird deterrents, a typical day sees about 50 gulls perching on the roof, but no bird nests, which Whitloff says is a positive thing.
So what we're finding is that the birds are bringing up ridiculous things like cooked chicken bones from fast food takeaways and things like that, and trying to build nests with it. It's so unnatural, it's unfair on the bird.
Once red-billed gull nests are formed, they can't be removed because the birds are protected under the Wildlife Act.
If we were to leave it too late and the nests would actually be formed, then the DOC would not allow us to come on the roof and disturb them. We have a permit and what we're allowed to do on the roof is very, very strictly controlled, and we're not about to jeopardise that either.
The Waitaki District Council has started making a natural alternative for a gull colony by clearing a remote corner of Cape Wanbrale. Lime is being spread on a new nesting site to simulate the whitewashed look Garno would have in an established colony. In Oamaru, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today. Waitati is flush with a new town utility, and we have another mayoral candidate interview. Tonight it's Lee Vandervis. See you after the break.
When it's time to say goodbye to your pet, Heaven Sent Pet Cremations are here to help you through this difficult experience. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today for their care and guidance. Phone 489-2274.
At Alex Campbell Menswear, we bring you the best value. We have bought a massive selection of moleskins, and we're passing on the savings to you. Buy one pair, save $25. Buy two, save $60, and we have a great deal on our knitwear. Look at it all. 25% off all our knitwear. And to go with the knitwear, what about a nice warm shirt? These are 25% off too. And while we're doing the 25% off, what about on the jackets? 25% off them as well.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
So check us out for massive savings this winter.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality, stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
You've seen us in the street, now find us online. Check out shopon.org.nz. We have all sorts of treasures, from retro and vintage clothing to antiques, homewares and accessories. New items added every week. We're open 24/7.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Step into Shop on Carol and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
Step into Op Shop on St Andrew and discover a place with plenty of bargains for yourself, your friends and the whole family. We have new items arriving every day. Visit us for a fabulous range of economy and upmarket clothing, accessories, books, shoes and more. Shop with us and support your community.
Step into Ross Cafe, located at Ross Home in North East Valley. We have a great range of hot and cold food, friendly service and a warm atmosphere that you are sure to enjoy. We look forward to serving you soon at Ross Cafe.
If you're suffering from sciatica, lower back pain, hips and pelvis and knees, this technique will work wonders for you. The energy flow is transmitting through the muscles. Come and see Sunny Chin.
No mai anō, welcome back. More than 100 people turned out in Waitati on Sunday to witness a major milestone, the opening of a new public toilet. The Waitati militia marched and drummed their way onto Harvey Street, where they were joined by many other revellers in costume. The toilet, which cost close to $100,000, is designed to accommodate the growing number of tourists visiting the township. With Dunedin's Mayor Dave Cull stepping down after serving the city for 3 terms, 14 hopefuls vie to be elected for the role. In tonight's bulletin, Otago Access radio host Ian Telfer interviews candidate Lee Vandervis as to why he wants to be mayor and where the chains of office.
To my left, a 4-term city councillor, well known as a debt hawk and certainly not afraid to speak his mind, Lee Vandervis. Kia ora, Lee.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for the opportunity.
Lee, you hit the front page of the ODT, well, probably not by your choice, but about there being a dozen complaints lodged against you, and it wasn't a very good look. What's going on there?
Well, it's the same complaints article that Mayor Cull put on the front page over a month ago. It was followed up with the same complaints article by Benson Pope 2 weeks later, claiming that I'd written these abusive and harassing emails. In both cases, the first thing I did, the only thing I could do, was release all possible emails to anyone that wanted to send in their email address to me. I'll still do that. And everybody that actually read the emails didn't find anything harassing or abusive in them. it's nothing but a rather gross smear campaign.
Do you really think the whole thing's politically motivated?
Well, how else could it be motivated, do you think?
Mm.
Given the timing, given that someone's been collecting complaints over the last 6 years, I think it is.
It wasn't just a question of the council releasing them by a dogged reporter?
Oh, the dogged reporter's been on my case for a very long time, and I refuse to speak to him, and that just makes him even more dogged. I refuse to speak to him because he simply won't quote me correctly and misrepresents me on a regular basis.
I have seen some of your emails in the past, though, and you're pretty direct, aren't you, at times?
Oh, absolutely. That's what I'm paid for. In terms of complaints, there have been 11 complaints apparently by staff against me. You'll realise that most of those complaints weren't actually by staff at all. They're by councillors, competing councillors, who didn't like the tone of my emails because I let other councillors see them as well. But if you consider that I would have made at least 100 complaints of staff not doing their job, not giving us appropriate information, not giving us timely responses to Lagoima requests over that period, what would you rather have me do? Not make the complaint in the first place? I mean, that's what everyone else does. They just let it all swan by. I don't. I resist all incompetence. I don't have any problem taking staff to task about not doing their job properly. And as far as the idea about attacking women, all of our staff in the governance team, all of the staff that look after information requests, they're all women anyway. The chief executive is a woman, the head of HR is a woman, the head of governance is a woman. I've got no choice but to make those complaints of women.
So you don't see it as gendered, it would just be whoever's in those roles?
There's gross gender imbalance in the council, and that it's always women that we deal with. So I've got absolutely no choice.
If you were mayor, what would you do that would be different?
Well, for a start, the $60 million on the George Street upgrade, defer. Actually stop it altogether.
You would stop that project now?
That's $60 million to be saved. $20 million for the surface treatments around the university. Just stop it. Why do we do it? We don't need to do it. We need to defer the bridge until we actually get some real waterfront development. We simply need to stop.
So you would want to put a hold on a lot of that spending that's planned at the moment?
Put a hold on all of it, because quite frankly, we are having to borrow to make that spending. And we've got out of control council companies who are borrowing much bigger than us even, to try and deal with deferred maintenance, and they're not doing it competently.
And we'll bring you more interviews with various candidates over the next 5 weeks. You can also watch the full 45-minute interview on odt.co.nz. After the break on The South Today, a bunch of southern firefighters get hot under the collar, but it's just a drill, and we check out the weather heading into the week. See you soon.
If you're suffering from sciatica, lower back pain, hips and pelvis and knees, this technique will work wonders for you. The energy flow is transmitting through the muscles. Come and see Sunny Chill.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality, stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
Step into Op Shop on St Andrew and discover a place with plenty of bargains for yourself, your friends and the whole family. For a fabulous range of economy and upmarket clothing, accessories, books, shoes and more. Shop with us and support your community.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Step into Ross Cafe, located at Ross Home in North East Valley. We have a great range of hot and cold food, friendly service and a warm atmosphere that you are sure to enjoy. We look forward to serving you soon at Ross Cafe.
risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole Map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life. When it's time to say goodbye to your pet, Heaven Sent Pet Cremations are here to help you through this difficult experience. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today for their care and guidance. Phone 489 2274.
Step into Shop on Carrot and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
You've seen us in the street, now find us online. Check out shopon.org.nz. We have all sorts of treasures, from retro and vintage clothing to antiques, homewares and accessories. New items added every week. We're open 24/7.
Thanks for staying with us. The Palmerston Flyer, the Kawasaki Kid, call Courtney Duncan whatever you like, but make sure you call her Champ. Because the 23-year-old Otago-based rider certainly is one. Duncan produced an utterly dominant performance in Turkey to claim the Women's Motocross World Championship title with a race to spare in the series. She won 7 of the first 8 races to establish a massive 23-point lead going into the final round. Her win early yesterday morning earned her an unassailable lead. She says it's a long way since she began riding at 7 years old. The Sunday morning silence was shattered at 10 a.m. by the wailing of a fire alarm at Silverfern Farms Finnegan plant outside Balclutha. It wasn't signalling a major fire, but rather marking the culmination of 3 months planning for a Fire and Emergency New Zealand annual brigade level training exercise for local volunteer brigades.
Thankfully, this was just a drill, but Silverfern Farms Emergency Response Team and crews from Balclutha, Kaitangata and Kaka Point brigades, along with a rural fire truck and fence support vehicle, were rapidly on the scene.
A smoke engulfed room, 3 persons reported missing, 2 were unconscious, 1 not, and with the freezing works being in a state of works at the moment, there was just hazards all over the place.
Kaitangata Brigade Senior Station Officer and Exercise Coordinator Anthony Dunn says the plan was to bring together all the local brigades to fight a fictional fire somewhere deep inside the complex.
The training today is just basically to get all 3 brigades working together, and also working with the ERT team from the Silverfern Farms to basically so that we all get to know each other and strengths and weaknesses.
The first responders were Silverfern Farms Emergency Response Team. Finnegan's Health and Safety Manager Janine Daly says the joint exercise went very well.
We've had a good turnout from all the local volunteers. We had a good turnout from our own ERT Emergency Response Team as well. And they've all worked together. They had a couple of stumbling blocks, but they managed to find the missing people and put the fire out, so it was a good end.
Anthony Dunn says lessons have been learned by all participants and the training notes will be reviewed over the coming weeks to see how they can fine-tune the skills at each brigade. The plant isn't currently working due to seasonal and renovation requirements, which means many dark and tiny areas had to be searched to locate the area where the internal alarm had gone off. In Balclutha, the South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. Minister of Education Chris Hipkins has visited Queenstown to announce plans to pump $27 million into Otago and Southland schools. Frequent visitors to a Southland camping area are worried there won't be enough room to pitch a tent this summer. And the Countdown supermarket in central Oamaru has added a new weapon to its arsenal against seagulls nesting on the roof. And now a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. We welcome for the last time to our screens Editorial Manager Philip Somerville, who's retiring from Allied Press at the end of this week. Kia ora, Phil.
Kia ora, Simon.
Now, firstly and briefly, what are the two top stories in tomorrow's ODT?
Well, the first one's probably Queenstown. Millions is being spent on cycleways and pedestrian ways and a big ambitious plan. And I should mention measles updates, and I'm going to mention the travel pages too. They take us to Vietnam.
Right, very good. Now that's one day, but you must have seen a lot in your time. What are the most memorable events that you've seen?
Well, I do remember very well taking part in one or two special editions of the ODT, so I'll mention two of those. After the 9/11 tragedy overnight in New Zealand, we had that special edition out by lunchtime around the dairies and petrol stations. And those Saturday night editions after the Bledisloe Cup rugby matches between Australia and New Zealand in the tent cities at Bathgate Park, they were exciting nights when it was all go. Not so good memories, but the aftermath of Aramoana shooting was a very difficult time. Danyon loaded 2 gold medals. I was news editor then. That was exciting and thrilling. More recently, the neurosurgery campaign that really showed a lot of power in the south. So let's hope that improves. I should say that I do love the news and the business in this business, and in all its shapes and sizes. Sometimes from the golden wedding, the 60th wedding anniversary, to national elections, to whatever, it's all part of us being community and accountability. It's a great business to be in.
That's brilliant. Well, thank you so much for appearing with us over the years. All the very best for your retirement.
Yes, and I'd like to say farewell to all the viewers, each and every one, e noho rā.
Thank you very much. Now let's have a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Beginning with today's southern view, one of the many beautiful pieces of Dunedin's street art. Looking at the situation, a westerly airflow brings showers to western and southern parts as fronts move past, but eastern and central regions should stay mostly dry for a few days. Starting with the southern towns, expect increasing westerlies with some cloud across this region. The Catlins, Balclutha, Lumsden and Gore should all aim for 10 degrees. Travelling westward to central Otago, you should plan for light winds and mostly clear skies, with showers for some. Queenstown and Wanaka can expect 9 degrees, while Alexandra you're heading for 11. Te Anau, you should plan for showers and 9 degrees. Looking at the northern towns, along the coast, Timaru and Oamaru, you can expect light winds and cloudy skies. It's 10 degrees for you both. In Dunedin, fine tonight with northeasterlies and an overnight low of 2. Mostly fine and sunny tomorrow, but some cloud developing in the afternoon. Cool with moderate northerly winds, a high of 10 and a low of 4. A few showers early Wednesday with westerlies becoming strong and gusty, but becoming fine during the afternoon and winds easing. A high of 9 and a low of 6. And finally moving to Invercargill. Fine and cold tonight with an overnight low of 2. Sunny periods at first tomorrow, but cloud increasing during the day, and westerly winds freshening. Some showers tomorrow night. A high of 10 and a low of 7. Showers clearing and sunny periods increasing during the day on Wednesday with fresh to strong cool westerly winds, slowly decreasing. A high of 9 and a low of 5 degrees. That's the news this Monday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Have a great evening and week. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.